Now let's review the point library, or point database option that we find in the project menu, where we can add and edit, view in detail, or directly select a point to go to the staking interface. If we go to the 3 points at the top, we could import a file, and we have multiple options to import the information from our jobs. We can work with dat files with the order point name X, which would be east, Y north height, and the code. We can also use NCN files, text files for projected coordinates, and we could even create or customize a file. How do we do it? By clicking here and simply moving each of the formats that we need. At least we can go to what would be a customized format. I can move it to the top, OK. If I want to create a custom format, I'll go to this option on the bottom left, and notice that I can create a new one, where I'll put the format name, for example, frames. Right. And it'll tell me what the extension is. I'll tell it it's going to be CSV point, for example. The separator is going to be commas. And what are the elements that I'm going to have in those files? So I can tell it first I'm going to put the north, second I'm going to put the east, finally I'm going to put the elevation and the code. OK. Then I tell it to accept in this file, or this format that appears as frames could be used in the import section. I see it at the bottom. Well, in this way, I simply search the internal memory of the station for where the CSV file is that I previously prepared on the computer to import the points. However, I can also add a point manually. I'm going to add one where I'm going to put station east, and it will ask me to enter codes. What will the coordinate type be? I can call the code directly from what would be a database. Note that there's already a default template where we can see curbs, etc. But we could also manage and import a code library that we will see in a later video. Here I am simply going to look for ACP, the coordinate type. I'm going to place the north. I'm going to place an approximate north of where we are, 8,863,915.85. Now let's go with the east, which would be 278,559.68. And then I am going to put the height 120. And here we have already edited it. This option to add continuously is so that it continues with a counter. Note that I click OK, and it automatically changes the last letter to the next one. If we had had PT1, for example, it would have gone to PT2. In this way, we now have a point in our point database. We can edit it again in case we made a mistake, or we can see the details of everything. That would be the coordinates. In this way, we have already used what would be the point database option. First, let me remind you that we could perform filters according to any attribute of the point. and software will show me an icon depending on the type of point I am managing. This was a point that I entered, but later we will see the measured points, the station points among others. And remember that we also use the same software for the RTK. So there you will also be able to see different icons, depending on the type of measurement that was made. What should I do if I need to delete this point? I simply go to the Select option, select the point and tell it to delete. And if I mistakenly deleted a point, I could go to Recover, and automatically, this is like a recycle bin, where the points that I have already deleted, I could select them and recover them to return them to the point database. See you in the next video.